well, you're sick. You believe you are, at least. You're not really sick, but you believe in sickness. And then that's just because of guilt in the mind. It has nothing to do with behavior, actions, has nothing to do with the linear time-space world. It's just the belief in guilt, which is the ego coming up into awareness. And that's why you don't feel good. It's from having a false identity, believing in the ego. So our main characters in our movie today, we have Rapunzel, and Rapunzel is a princess, but she's going to have some events that occur where she is literally stolen. She is stolen from her mother, the queen, and her father, the king. And she is stolen, after she's born, she is stolen from the palace and taken away from the palace. So when she grows up, she doesn't even know that she's a princess. It's talk about the ego substituting a false identity. It's like she will be taken away by a woman who is very old and who wants that flower, that healing flower, and who wants the beautiful gold glowing hair that Rapunzel has to stay young. So Mother Gothel is in the movie and in the fairy tale, she's the one who she's into that's the getting mode of the ego. It believes it has to get the light to stay young. The light has nothing to do with being young or old. But in this world, some people associate young with beauty and old and wrinkled with ugly. I don't get that. I never did really get that very much. My grandmother and I, we had a great time, and her body seemed to get more and more and more wrinkled as she grew into her 70s, 80s, 90s, mid-90s. And she grew to 99 and she had a lot of wrinkles, but we had a blast. We were so happy. I think she was very beautiful, actually, because her heart was so beautiful. But in the world and in this movie, youth is equated with value. And so this woman who is growing old, Mother Gothel, is going to rely on this plant, this flower, and then she's going to actually steal Rapunzel when she tries to cut her hair off, and it doesn't work. She wants light to go. She tries to take a snippet of little Princess Rapunzel's hair, and sorry, the light is not carry out. It's not takeout. You can't get it to go. You have to find it within. You can't just take a little snippet and stay young for centuries. It doesn't work that way. So we also have another character, and don't you love relationship movies? Here we go. Rapunzel, as she grows up, she will have a relationship that will come to her, and the name that she sees, and he says his name is Flynn Rider, and he's quite interesting. He's a thief. At least he believes he's a thief, and he's on these wanted posters, and he will be the one that discovers Rapunzel in her tower. So this movie's got it all. We like movies to start out with special relationship and go towards holiness and go towards the light. That's what this movie is. Flynn and Rapunzel have got a lot of healing and forgiveness to go through. And then, of course, Mother Gothel, in German, like it's Mata Gothel, not Mata Gothel. She's like the fake mother who steals Rapunzel and then pretends to be a mother. But the good news is that everybody is just a reflection of our own beliefs. So if we don't know who we are, we can project value and sourcing onto mom or onto dad in the world, but in the end, our source is internal. We have a divine source. So all the world, we can't say that this is a nightmare necessarily for Rapunzel, because all of us have had to deal with fake stories, fake origin. All of our parents in terms of the world are fake in the sense that they're projections of guilt. So the parents even act out our guilt. We can't blame the parents. We set this up. You know, we say, okay, here I'm passing out the parts, the ego is passing out the part. You're going to play the mother. You're going to sometimes adore me, but sometimes be mean. Okay, remember that. We've got some mean parts in here. And then we hold grievances for what, oh, treat me right, dun, dun, dun. You know, we get really upset when the characters don't treat us well, but we don't remember that we believed in the ego and we set up this story, this linear story where certain characters would act out the guilt, only so we could forgive it. That's the only purpose of acting out guilt, is so it's brought to the surface so we can let it go. It's a good thing actually to have things exposed and release them. You know, we start to say good. When the feelings are not good, we say, oh, what's for me to look at here? So also we've got great little creatures. Remember in all the Disney movies, I'm thinking of Frozen, but there's so many great Disney movies and there's great characters. This has got to be the all-time Disney movie for a horse. I don't think any movie has as good of horse in this as this movie. And the horse is called Maximus. So you're going to enjoy this horse. Even if you don't like horses, you will love this horse. It's a guarantee. It's the all-time dramatic horse in the history of the world. So you're going to love Maximus. And then we have a chameleon that changes colors, and the chameleon is called Pascal. So, wow, just like the snowman stole the show in Frozen, I think again, the horse, Maximus, and the chameleon, Pascal, they steal the show again. There's no problem. Disney animals can easily steal the show from the adults. They're so good. They're the best. But that's what keeps it funny. We need funny animals to help us in our healing, because we tend to take things too seriously. So Pascal and Maximus are going to make sure that we laugh while we heal today. They're going to be there for that. Again, I just want to say one more time that what's so great about these Disney movies is the metaphysics are so important. For most people on a daily basis, they don't wake up in the morning and look out the window and they don't go, oh, it's a lie. That's usually not the words that come to mind when they look out the window. But the five senses are part of a lie. There's actually nothing that the five senses have to do with truth at all, because God didn't create the world and God didn't create the five senses. But they can be used as symbols. So in that sense, every Saturday when we come together, we're just praying for Jesus and the Holy Spirit to use the symbols that will make us smile, that will warm our hearts, that will give us more motivation to do our mind training. Because there's a lot of temptations in this world to get caught in other things other than mind training. And Jesus actually wants us to be devoted to mind training. Again, the projected world is the veil that was drawn over the light, or the veil that was drawn over truth. So to the extent that you're distracted by the images, then you've bought into Distractionville. And I think even in terms of our first theme today, seeking validation outside my true self, I'm going to use a new word for the world today. I always come up with a new word for the cosmos, but I'm going to call the cosmos Validationville. Okay, this is validation-ville. It's another word for distraction-ville. Validation-ville. In other words, when you look at the trees, if you look at the streets, if you look at the cities, if you look at the people and the bunny rabbits and the animals, it's all a temptation to look for external validation. And some of you know, even if you have a pet, that, you know, once you pick out a cat or a dog or a bird and you bring it into your house and you start talking to it, and sometimes it starts making noises back to you when it wants to be fed or petted or something, you've just bought into distraction-ville, validation-ville, because I know there's some of you that actually live for validation from your pets. If your pets don't treat you right, there's a major bad hair day. It's going to be a tough day when your pets don't treat you right, but occasionally that actually happens. So this movie is going to undo people-pleasing. The specific form of people-pleasing we're dealing with in this movie is called mother-pleasing. Rapunzel is a mother-pleaser. She will do everything her mother wants. And this is kind of a schizo mother. This is definitely a projection of a split mind. I don't think I've seen a better depiction of a split mind than projected onto a mother than this Rapunzel movie, Mother Gothel. She's going to sing us a song, Mother Knows Best. And that means mother is always right. And if you're in the daughter role and you believe mother knows best, that's a tough one, because you talk about dependency. You are in a major dependency relationship, and this is definitely a mother-daughter dependency relationship. Remember, she's been stolen from Queen Mother and stolen from Queen Father or King Father. So now she's just grown up as a little bitty baby and she's looking up for nurturing and support. And it's like having the ego for a parent. Now, we shouldn't laugh too hard at this, because this is what we've all done. We've all put the ego as the parent. And then we look to the external validation, and we go through all kinds of dependency issues in our family relationships, in our work relationships, and in our partner relationships. So this is like a core issue that is going to be unveiled today. I'm hoping that when you watch this movie, you will laugh a lot. You may cry a lot, because this may remind you of what you've gone through in your own life. And I know for many, it's been very intense. This has been something that's been a core issue. Mother-child relationships or child-parent relationships are some of the core projections that the ego uses to keep your mind in line. Remember, this is a course in mind training, and the purpose of Jesus is to free the mind from the ego belief system. So it's never the characters that are harming us. It's never the environment that harms us. It's never the story that harms us. It's our beliefs and thoughts about the characters and the story that seem harmful. It's our faulty ego interpretations that are always at the core of our difficulties. That's why this is a course. It's so helpful to have Jesus teaching us how to interpret with the Holy Spirit instead of trying to interpret against the Holy Spirit, because we always feel upset when we try to interpret against that Holy Spirit interpretation. And that's just another way of saying, come back to the present moment. Nothing in the past ever harmed you. Nothing in the future can ever harm you, but it's just a faulty interpretation in this moment that covers over the light. So I'm excited. I think we're in for a ride, and we're just ready to hop on the carpet ride. I think also I want you to notice that how there's a lot of characters that appear to Rapunzel, and some of them she's initially frightened by, but in the end, the Holy Spirit turns it around so that some of the mighty companions that she's frightened by at first turn out to be the ones that come to her rescue to show her the light. So here we go. Sit back, enjoy, have fun.